It's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing a book that I've got many requests on this channel to actually review. Follett the Giants by Ken Follett. The main reason I've got so many requests, as long-time viewers of this channel know, I have reviewed many Ken Follett books here on the past. He's one of my favorite authors. One of my favorite books of all time is Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. So a lot of them people have asked me if I've read his latest book, Follett the Giants, which is actually going to be the first book in the Century Trilogy, is what they're calling it. Just did recently read it, so I'm going to follow through with all the requests that I've received and review it on here. I had some sort of I guess, mixed reaction to this book. First off, let me state, part of the issue with me is I had so many people ask me to review this, and it kind of gave me really, really high expectations for the book. Probably because I've loved his work that he's done so much in the past that I was almost expecting this, this has to be an awesome book, one of the best books I've ever read. And it turned out, I'm not saying that it was a bad book, but I don't know if I really would classify this as a great book. I would probably say it's pretty good, but like of all the Ken Follett books I've read, and I've probably read, around 10 or so, I would actually say this was kind of a middle-of-the-pack book for Ken Follett. Not my least favorite, but not my favorite. Before I get to what I liked and what I didn't like about the book, let me give you a basic overview of what the plot is. Basically, this book covers the actions that lead up to and take place during World War I. The book is told from many viewpoints. You have a couple families and characters from England and Wales. You have a family from Germany. You have a family from Russia. You have an American family that's very high up in politics, but then you also have an immigrant in America. So you have very multiple viewpoints. You have from conservative viewpoints to a couple who are real involved with the feminist movement. You have people that are involved in radical politics, like the communists in Russia. So very wide range of viewpoints, attitudes, characters that you really get presented in this book. Like I said, it kind of starts the years leading up to World War I, and the book concludes with a couple years after World War I. So you're basically looking from like 1910 to about 1920 is roughly the period of the book covered. So first, let me kind of tell you some of the issues I had with the book. Now, I'll start off with Ken Follett, obviously, since they're already calling this book one of the Century Trilogy. He's not making, any bones about this. This is book one in a 3-book series. One big issue I had with this book is how long it is. Now, as you see, this is a very big paperback book. It's about the size of a normal hardback. And it is massive. It is, let me make sure I get the page number right, 985 pages. It's not like a huge text either. It is massive, and that's part of the issue I had. It's almost too big. I felt like this book probably could have been cut in half and turned into two books. So I don't know if it's because Ken Follett was so dead set on writing a trilogy that even though the book turned out so long, he just kept it as book one. In my opinion, he might have been better off turning this series into a 5- or 6-book series, and just making, this book 450, 500 pages or so, instead of writing nearly a 1,000-page book that is absolutely huge. And part of the thing that's frustrating about that, you'd be reading on it, for 2 or 3 days. You've read 200, 300 pages, and you look, and you feel like you've hardly made a dent in it. So in that aspect, like I said, I think he would have been better off if he'd made this into 2 books instead of just one. So that was one issue I had with it. Another issue I had with it, Ken Follett typically is great at having some key villain. Some villain that is just so compelling and so evil that you're just fascinated by him or her, and you can't wait for that villain to reappear in the book. You're just constantly fascinated. What's the villain going to do next? In this book, there's really not that one key villain. All the characters are more, I would say, kind of in the middle. They do some good stuff, They do some bad stuff. There's some that are slightly bad, but even then, it's like a good-natured type of bad. Like, they're really not trying to hurt people. They're just doing what they think is best. There's no, cold-blooded murderers or people like that in the book. So because of that, I didn't get that great villain that you usually have in a Ken Follett book. Also, a few points, as I mentioned when I was talking about the basic plot of it, you get multiple political viewpoints in the book, which I think is great, but a few times in the book, I almost felt like Ken Follett got too much into the political debate and then got away from the story. So like the plot would be progressing, and then he basically stops the book for 2 or 3 pages so they can have a debate on workers' rights, or the women's right to vote, or the politics of war and stuff like that, which is all interesting, but I think he does it a little too often. It's like, reading this book, you're going around the plot, and almost like it stops for 2 or 3 pages just so you can have this little political debate, and then it restarts. So I think he could have downplayed that a little bit, and the book would have flowed a lot better. But with that said, there was things I really enjoyed about this book. One thing that Ken Follett always does a great job is writing characters in such a way that you really care about them. You really become passionate about them. And there's a few characters in this book that you really, at least from my viewpoint, really become attached to, that you just can't wait until it's their turn in the book to kind of give the plot from their viewpoint. Probably my favorite character is a character named Billy. He is a coal miner from Wales. Found him really compelling. It's really interesting to see how his character develops throughout the book. He starts off as a very innocent young kid, and by the end of the book, he's a grizzled World War I veteran. He's getting into politics. He's really became a full-fledged adult that has really interesting viewpoints on the world, given his background. So I really enjoyed him, and there's other characters like that I really enjoyed. So those characters really help you get through the points in the book that maybe drag down some point. And also, it's those characters that motivated me to finish a 1,000-page book. So, because even though a few points like, I just want to be finished with this, but at the same time you enjoy those characters so much, that was what kind of gave you the motivation to kind of work through your way through the book and actually finish this nearly 1,000-page book. The other thing Ken Follett did an excellent job with this book is the history of World War I. I'm a huge history book, so I love it when fiction books are set in historical setting, and they actually honor the history, and they're fairly accurate. So this book really gives you a pretty good viewpoint of why World War I happened, the events of the war, and the events after the war. And he does so it's not really in a biased opinion, so it's not like he's giving you just the British viewpoint, or just the German viewpoint, or just the American. He's giving you all one, so you can see it from all the sides of pre-war environment, the war, and the after-war. You really get a good, well-rounded viewpoint of what happened, and I thought he did an excellent job. In fact, it might be the best job I've ever seen in a novel, presenting all the viewpoints and not really letting that detract from the story. He was able to work that in a lot better than I thought some of the political debates, which at some point did kind of bog down to me a little bit. But the historical aspect of this book is awesome. So if you really love historical fiction, I think you'll love this book. Even if you're not too much in history, I think you still can like this book, because like I said, Ken Follett writes such interesting and compelling characters that even if you're not interested in the background subject, like this one is really the events that took place and after World War I. Even if you're not interested in that topic, the characters will be interesting enough that I think you'll enjoy this book. But I will say as a warning, like I said, it is nearly a 1,000-page book. So if you're planning on reading this, if you're trying to knock out a book in 2 or 3 days, like over a trip, this is probably not the book for you. But if you have, a week or two, maybe a real long vacation, and you want a book to kind of read the entire time you're out, this might be one. I'm really interested to see where he goes with this series. Basically, the way I understand it, it's supposed to be kind of a series that covers several generations of the families that are in this book. So, the next book might be these people, I'm guessing, maybe around World War II or the Great Depression. So they might fast forward 10 or 20 years. And maybe the third book is set during the Cold War or something. So I'll be really interested to see how this series develops. I'm such a diehard Ken Follett fan that even though I would just say this book was pretty good, I'm willing to give him the benefit of doubt, and I'll definitely get book 2. Just hoping book 2 is not 1,000 pages long. So that is my viewpoint on Fall Giants. Please let me know what you thought. If you liked the book a lot more than I did, please let me know. Let me know what you think the next book should be about. If you are hoping it'll be about the Great Depression or World War II, what was your favorite characters in the book? So I know, at least from all the comments I've got on the channel, that a lot of people have already read this book. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say about the book. I hope you enjoyed the review, and like I said, if you like Ken Follett or you really enjoy historical fiction, I would suggest you read Fall of the Giants by Ken Follett, and I will see you the next time. Thanks for watching.